Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review, and happy 4th of July to everybody. And now, for me reviewing for this year's 4th of July Independence Day review, I want to review I would say pretty much my all-time favorite comedy film. Because as I look back at all the comedies that I have seen, especially when I grew up with this one when I grew up with. But as I look at all the other comedy films that I have, this film I had got the most laughs out of any other comedy I've ever watched. I would just totally just laugh my ass off every time I watch this film. I've seen probably this film probably at least 50 times over my lifetime. Especially with starting from when I first saw it growing up. Still watching it to this day. I would laugh my ass off every time. This is a film that just never fails to stop me from laughing. And it's my all time. It's directed by Mel Brooks, and a film everyone knows about. And so my review of my all time favorite comedy film is Spaceballs, and it's also not that it was my all-time favorite comedy film, but I'm also doing this marking for its 30th anniversary movie review. Because it was released in the year 1987, so it's marking its 30th anniversary review. 30th anniversary. And what way to review it, since it's my all-time favorite comedy film, and especially it's my favorite Mel Brooks film, obviously. But with Mel Brooks, I enjoy a lot of his comedy films. This is my favorite film of his. Second would be Young Frankenstein. I love Young Frankenstein. I reviewed it because the fact that last year we lost Gene Wilder. But I love Young Frankenstein. I enjoy Blazing Saddles. Robin Hood, Men in Tights with Cary Elwes, I like. The original producers, I don't remember seeing the film, because I would have remembered though, but I don't think I have seen the original producers though. I know I have not seen Silent Movie. What was the one, The Beginning of the World Part 1. I've seen that film once. What was it, the Beginning of the World Part 1? I've seen that film once long ago. I can't remember much about it though. But and then the last film that he directed with Leslie Nielsen, Dracula Dead and Loving It, I actually do like, because I like Leslie Nielsen. And that was the last film he directed, because that film flopped, and maybe that's why he stopped making anymore. But Mel Brooks, he's a masterful at comedy. I enjoy him. Now he's just. I know it's been years of he's just gotten how old he is now. I can't remember. He's probably in his late 80s, maybe early 90s. Nowadays he can just do voice work. I know he had a voice role in Mr. Peabody and Sherman as Einstein, then in Hotel Transylvania 2 as Dracula's father, Vlad. But yeah, I guess that's all he can do nowadays is just voice work. But this film, I just laugh my ass off every time I watch it. I put on this film. I just laugh every single time. And especially that's why probably the best spoof film. Well, I know Mel Brooks takes on a lot of spoof films, but back then, because spoof films nowadays, they're not even attempted to be funny nowadays. First of all, it's nowadays it's probably just a whole bunch of crude humor. Jokes are not funny, painfully unfunny like jokes, but it's also especially characters as well, like Date Movie, Disaster Movie, Meet the Spartans, Vampires Suck, which does suck. It's just the title fits for that. Uh, what was it? Then there was another one. Well, scary movie. I like the first two scary movie films, but then 3 and 4 sucks. Especially 5, as that is the worst one. Spoof films. Or what was the note that what came out like last year? Like Meet the Black. What was it? 50 Shades of Black. It was a parody of 50 Shades of Grey. Or Dance Off, or was Dance Off, or that sort of thing. It's just those or superhero movie. That's another one. Those spoofs or parodies are not even attempted being funny nowadays. They're not. It's just the reason why I started, because those are not funny. It's just terrible films, especially one of the worst comedies for the genre. Nowadays they don't make much money nowadays because people are tired of seeing the same parody jokes over and over. But back then with Mel Brooks, this is with a good example of spoofing from mainly Star Wars and some other stuff, a little bit Star Trek and other stuff though. But this is back then. This is how spoofs, when you have it in the hands of Mel Brooks, done right. He handled the jokes well enough that those actually make it funny and make the characters very likable. So Mel Brooks, he did a very good job at handling the spoof parodies humor well, and making it funny. And this is a special 2-disc edition. Has a commentary of Mel Brooks, Spaceballs the documentary, in conversation with Mel Brooks and Thomas Meaden, who helped write Mel Brooks on the script. Spaceballs, the trivia game. Spaceballs, the behind the movie photos. Spaceballs, the costume gallery. Spaceballs, the art gallery. Exhibitor trailer with Mel Brooks introduction. So it's a good collector's edition. And Mel Brooks did a good job of directing, producing, and helped write on the film, let alone star in it. And it's easily one of the most fast-paced comedy films I've ever seen. It's only an hour 36 minutes, but take out end credits, it's pretty much like about an hour and a half, and it's very well fast-paced. And I love the cast. He starts, of course, tells Mel Brooks as President Scroob, and also his second role as Yogurt. John Candy as Barf, half man, half dog. I'm a Mog, half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend. Highlight to me, the highlight of the film that made me laugh the most, Rick Moranis as Dark Helmet. He's definitely the favorite part, my favorite part of the entire movie. He's what sold the film for me. He's hilarious. He's beyond funny. Bill Pullman as Lone Star. He's great in this film. Especially I think it's like his big breakout role for him, because his first film, he was in that comedy. His first role was the comedy film with Danny DeVito and Judge Reno. I think it was called Ruthless People. That was the first his debut role, and I think this was the next film he did. I forget though, but this is pretty much his breakout role, and is his comedy. Then he would later go and do Wes Craven's Serpent and the Rainbow, and of course Independence Day. Well, love his character in Independence Day. Screw the second film. Die freaking nothing. That's a completely bullshit movie. That's one of the most bullshit films I've seen in a long time. Hated when they did that with that character with Bill Pullman. Hated it. And also Casper, of course. But and Bill Pullman, he hasn't done much. He doesn't do much nowadays. Well, besides the second Independence Day film. Beside that film. Daphne Zuniga as Princess Vespa. I thought she did perfectly fine. I enjoyed her character. Dick Van Patten plays her father, the king. Joan Rivers, who voices Dot, who's like the parody of C-3PO from Star Wars. George Wyner, or Wyner, which recently he was in that film that I recently reviewed not that long ago, that shitty film Dogs, which was a boring film. He was one of the characters, and somehow he gets killed off screen at the end of the film. Dogs. I don't want to talk about that film. But he plays Colonel Sanders. I enjoyed his character. I think also he also another reason why I enjoyed it, because especially when he too bad he's not on the front cover here, but character Colonel Sanders interacting with Rick Moranis also helped the film maybe also make the highlight of the film for me. Not only Rick Moranis though, which he is though, but especially with Dark Helmet communicating between him and Colonel Sanders. So I enjoyed George Wyner in this film as well. And I just love the cast in this film. I love the humor, the jokes, music by John Morris. I really do enjoy the production, the effects, score, characters. I just love this film to death. That's why it's my all-time favorite. It's my all-time favorite comedy film. Like I said, I laugh my ass off every single time I watch this film. So yeah. And just how the film opens up, with like I said, parody of it's mainly a parody of Star Wars. You know how it shows the first destroyer ship. Here it shows this long. Their ship is just totally like miles long. It basically it takes forever to finally show the end of the ship as it's going by. And it's like it says like we break for nobody. It's bumper sticker. And Rick Moranis comes in as Dark Helmet in his parody of Darth Vader. If anyone especially plays a best parody of Darth Vader is Rick Moranis as Dark Helmet. Especially his Dark Helmet is a freaking huge helmet, because and then when he comes close, he can't breathe. He's like, I can't breathe in this thing. And then there's one guy, one of the guy who works for them. He like notified ahead of him. He's like, "What? You went over my helmet?" No, that's not morally, but more of the side to it. But then he pulls out his ring, which is, of course, instead of the parody of this force, it's called the Schwartz. It has his ring, and the guy's like, "Oh shit! No, please, not that." Yes, that, and just use the swords and goes to the guy's crotch. It's like, whoa! And then you see like Colonel Sanders, his face is like, it's like kind of like he's enjoying. It's like, and so and then he wants to look at the radar and is like, "What's the matter with this thing? What's all the turning button? We call that a radar screen?" "No, sir, we call it Mr. Coffee." "Care for some?" "Yes, I always have a coffee before I watch radar. Everyone knows that." "Of course we do, sir. Everyone knows that." "Of course we do, sir." And they cover their crotches. So, and then he takes a sip. Because because their whole mission is that there's this Earth-like planet called Planet Druidia, and they have like tons of fresh air, and they want to suck the air out of that planet to save their planet Spaceball. And then Rick Moranis takes a sip. The coffee's too hot. I was like, and then he's like, hot, too hot. So as I'm telling the humor is, it always makes me smile, because I just love Rick Moranis. He's one of the soul of the film for me. I just love him in this film. This has always been my favorite film with Rick Moranis. I enjoy him in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Ghostbusters, but this film, he just makes me laugh the most. So, and then with Planet Druidia, Daphne Zuniga plays a Princess Vespa. She's gonna get married to this prince who, he's a boring prince. All he does is just yawns all the time. So she runs away with her robot Dot, the voice played by Joan Rivers, who's now passed on, sadly. And same with Dick Van Patten. He also like recently passed away like last year, or I forget. Yeah, he's also now passed away. So she drives off in her little ship, and then you have introduced with Bill Pullman and John Candy. They're in there flying Winnebago. And John Candy is Bart, like I said, half man, half dog, and he's like eating out of his dog bowl and chewing on dog biscuits. And he's listening to that song, I think it's by Bon Jovi, Raise Your Hands. And Bill Pullman is Lone Star. They get a call from this gangster who, this name, Pizza the Hut, of course, parody of Jabba the Hutt, but Pizza the Hut. He's made out of pizza. He's voiced by Dom DeLuise. And so they need they owe money. And then with back with well, before with the princess, you know like how the parody of like with the Princess Leia had those that type of hairstyle like around here. I forget what the hairstyle was. But actually, what she takes them off because actually they're headphones, and also with on Planet Spaceball, Mel Brooks plays President Scroob, and he's like talking to this guy, right? He's like, know about the air shortage on our planet, and he's like, don't be ridiculous. As president of Planet Spaceballs, I can assure you for both you and your viewers, there's no air shortage whatsoever. I know I wrote the whole thing myself. Thanks for calling, for not pressing the charges. Bye. And as he hangs up, shithead. And he has this oh, it's like this it's like those I forget what that that brand is called. I think it's like for like sparkling water or something, but it's called Pure Air instead of water. And it's canned fresh air, and it's like he opens it, it's like it's just smelling the fresh air. And then this female commander is being informed about the princess, and he wants to go to the command center, and he wants to. She says, "Should I have Snotty beam you down, sir?" Of course, a Snotty parodying of Scotty from Star Trek, and he even says like, "What the hell? I'll give it a shot." What I was like, "I'll give it a shot." What the hell? It works on Star Trek. So he gets in the beam thing, and then as soon as he beams on the other side, his head is all twisted around, so it's just like his head, his face like is like his back end is like, it's on backwards. And then Mel Brooks like, why didn't somebody tell me my ass is so big? And then everyone just like laughing. So they say he beams it back to normal, and then he said he's gonna walk, and literally the door as he goes to the door, it's like it's like 5 feet away. You know, it's like he's right where he's beaming. It's like right there. So then the Spaceball 1, that's their ship called, they're right behind the princess, and then Dark Helmet's like, fire a warning shot across her nose. It's like, carefully, I said across her nose, not Abed. And then the guy, he's cross-eyed, and it's like, and then Rick Moranis like, who made the man a gunner? I did, sir. He's my cousin. And this other guy is also cross-eyed. He's like, who is he? He's an asshole, sir. I know who he is. What's his name? That's his name, sir. Asshole. Major asshole. And his cousin? He's an asshole too, sir. Gunner's mate, first class Philip Asshole. How many assholes we got on this ship anyway? And then everyone just stands up and raises their hand. Yo! I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes. Keep firing, assholes! Which is like I can relate to nowadays, because Hollywood is now full of assholes, but because they keep on remaking and rebooting things, because now the people don't ask for or don't need. But what we can do? So, but that is the truth, especially the studios like 20th Century Fox and Paramount and all the other ones. But hey, at least the good news is they turn out some good films each year that I do enjoy. This year has been really good they've been doing really good this year, like especially with Get Out, I love Kong Skull Island. I even like Logan, The Fate of the Furious, the 8th one. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So yeah, but I'm not saying every single film nowadays is bad, because there are films I do enjoy, for every year. There's always some glimmer of hope still, but this is most of the films, they just are not that good nowadays. That's why Even though I say it's an inside joke, but it's also like a little bit of the truth. That's why it's like it's surrounded by assholes. But that's for another time. But I just love the joke of that. You know, keep falling, assholes. So yeah. And then they get them in their tractor beam to pull him in, and then the king goes to Lone Star and to Bar for help to help them, and he's like, and he says he'll do anything, and he's like, okay, we'll do it for $1 million. $1 million? Oh, you're starting to fade, losing picture, Your Highness. Okay, I'll do it. So they agree to do it for $1 million space bucks, and when they get there, and it's like, oh. And then John Candy's like, oh, why don't we risk our lives for a runaway princess? I know we need the money. Listen, we're not doing it just for money. We're doing it for a shitload of money. Bill Pullman and John Candy, they were absolutely great in this film. I love their characters. See, even they were funny too. But I love Bill Pullman. I love John Candy. But still, Rick Moranis is the one that still sells the film for me. He's the absolute highlight of the film. Makes me laugh the most. But Bill Pullman is like, you know, we're doing it for a shitload of money. So, and this is they're gonna jam their signals, and they shoot it. And it's actually a jar of jam to jam their signal. And you have this guy who's on this radar, played by Michael Winslow. I think he's mostly starring from the Police Academy films, I think. And he sees the screen messing up, but he's actually doing the sound effects himself as the thing is going on. It's like, whoa, 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 shit. You know, he's doing it. Boop, boop, boop. His phone's like, doop, doop, doop. Sir, can I talk to you for a minute, please, sir? What is it? Mom, trouble the rest. You don't need that private. Now, what is it? We're right here. Now, what is it? Mom, trouble the rest. McMurray gets like this. Now, what is it? Madam, trouble with the radar, sir. What's wrong with it? I lost the bleeps, I lost the sweeps, I lost the creeps. The what? The what? And the what? You know. The bleeps. The sweeps. And the creeps. That's not all he's lost. So I know I memorized these lines over a whole bunch of times because that's why it's so memorable. This is what for parody films, spoofs should be. This is how funny it should be. Not like in today's time where everything's just like, oh, whatever joke's a crude joke they have or whatever. This is actual comedy that was funny back in those days. How you do a spoof film right. But anyway, he's saying like, sir, the radar, sir, it appears to be jammed. Jammed. Raspberry. There's only one man who would dare give me the raspberry. Lone Star. And as he's saying this, the camera pans in, and I like that George Wyner, Colonel Standers, he sees the camera pans in, like he's like from this angle, and he sees it, he's going in, so he moves out of the way. The shot is like, as his camera's going, he's like, and then as the camera's zooming in, like this, Lone Star, then it hits Dark Calman and he falls down. Yeah. It's like poof. So oh man, this is just freaking hilarious. So they get there, they get the two out as the thing, the car is in there. Well, it's not a car, but it looks like a car. And the Lord Dark Helmet sees it, they're not in there. And she says, she's not in there. And everyone drops their guns and covers their crotches. And they say that what they have is a Winnebago out there. And he's like, Lone Star! Lone Star! And the door falls on him. And so they're going to go to into hyperdrive. And then the Dark Helmet says, you know, we have to go to ludicrous speed, and everyone goes, ludicrous speed? Sir, we've never gone that fast before. I don't think the ship can take it. What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken? Prepare ship! So yeah, they fasten all the seatbelts. It's like, give me that, you petty excuse for an officer. Now hear this. Ludicrous speed! Sir, you better buckle up! Buckle this! Ludicrous speed! Go! And he's hanging on because they're going very fast. And he's like, what have I done? My brains are going into my feet! And they're going to ludicrous speed. It's like in plaid. And John Candy's like, what the hell was that? Spaceball 1. They've gone to plaid! And then Rick Moranis, we've passed them! Stop this thing! We can't stop, it's too dangerous! We've got to slow down first! Bullshit! I just think, especially, I laugh myself every time he says the word bullshit. I swear, it makes me laugh every single time. It's not the way he says it. It's like, bullshit! Just stop this thing! I order you! Stop! And he hits the emergency braking, and as soon as he stops, as soon as he goes to instant stop, Rick Moranis goes and flies through the control panel. And it's like, he's all messed up, and he's like, it's like, well, what should we do now, sir? Well, have we stopped? We're stopped, sir. Good. And why don't we all take a 5-minute break? Very good, sir. Smoke if you got him. And he falls down again. But then, I would put Bill Pullman, John Candy. They ran out of gas, so they crash on. They land on this desert planet called the Moon of Vega. That's what the bad guys they describe them. So they carry all the princess's luggage, which he has this case. Billman takes out this giant hair dryer, and just drops. It's like, you pick that up. You pick that up. So, and then it comes back with Rick Moranis and George Wyner, and this is where the part nowadays, like today's, especially with with Deadpool, how it did all the break the fourth wall and all that within Deadpool, though. This is how, like, one of the, I don't think I remember anything back from the 80s that did the break the fourth wall effect. Not too many times, not that I remember. But this film, this is how they break the fourth wall. Well, if I remember, I don't think it's not the first time back in the day they break the fourth wall, but for what I remember, it's one of the first times I've seen break the fourth wall. But nowadays they try to do that a lot nowadays. Well, especially with Deadpool, though. But by this film, I still prefer the break the fourth wall humor better than Deadpool, though. I like Deadpool, but this film did it better because I like because they know how self-aware they are, that they're a movie and all that. Like, says, because Colonel sounds like, I got an idea. Corporal, give me the video cassette of Spaceballs the movie. And then as the guy searches for Spaceballs movie, I think you see he's pointing all the movies that Mel Brooks directed. You see, like Silent Movie. You have 12 Chairs, The Producers, Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein. I like that where he showed how all Mel Brooks' films. And then Rick Moranis is like, how could there be a video cassette of Spaceballs the movie? We're still in the middle of making it. That's true, sir. But there's been a new breakthrough in home video marketing. There has? Yes. Instant cassettes. They're out in stores before the movie is finished. Nah. Here it is, sir. Spaceballs. And as they're fast forwarding to the stuff that's already happened in the movie, and then Rick Moranis is like, no, pass this part. In fact, never play this again. And as they stop, they're right where, as they're right now, which is, what the hell am I looking at? Because they're looking at the camera and all that, and it's like, what does this happen in the movie? Now. You're looking at now, sir. Everything that's happening is happening now. Go back to then. We can't. We're now. Why can't we go back? We can't. Why? We missed it. Why? Just now. When will then be now? Soon. So then they find out where they're at, and then they're gonna die of thirst from the desert, but they get saved by those little guys from Star Wars. They get those little guys with the glowing eyes, faceless glowing eye guys, but these guys have faces. Because all they say is ding, 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 So they take him back to the parody of Yoda from Star Wars, named Yogurt. And it's Yogurt played by the second role that Mel Brooks is playing in the film. And tells about the Schwartz. I mean, the Force? No, the Schwartz. And this is when also the thing back they did back with the whole merchandising thing was like, now this is how the really, because nowadays with films also thing, especially the Marvel films, how it's all about the merchandising. Here they really sold out on the merchandising idea at the time, like Spaceballs the T-shirt, Spaceballs the coloring book, Spaceballs the cereal, or Spaceballs the flamethrower. The kids love it, and also the Spaceballs the doll. Me. Yeah, so it's like everything, like Spaceballs, the something, like the towel, or the toilet paper, which you see in the film, or the placemat. Or Spaceballs, the blankets, or whatever. I mean, they sold out all in the type of merchandising. And I think it was also another thing that, because they, that Mel Brooks, he went with consulted with George Lucas, because how parodying the Star Wars. And it's like, as Mel Brooks' deal with George Lucas on parodying Star Wars was that no Spaceballs action figures be made. According to Brooks, Lucas said that your action figures are going to be like mine, and then George Lucas said, okay. So George Lucas just let him went with it, and then with President Scrooge again, and tells him to comb the desert. And they literally start because now that they're at the desert planet, and they start really taking these giant combs and literally combing the desert. And Colonel Sanders like to Dark Helmet, "Sir, are we being too literal? No, you fool. We're following orders. We're total combing the desert, so we're combing it." "Found anything yet?" "Nothing yet, sir." "What about you guys?" "Not a thing, sir." "How about you?" And you see how they have this low comb. It's like with those if you had afros, those little picket combs you do with the things, and the guy goes, "We ain't found shit." So, and then back with Yogurt, he's teaching Bill Pullman, Lone Star, the way he also has a ring for the Schwartz. He lifts up this giant statue of Yogurt, and it lands on Barb's foot. He picks it up, takes it off, flattens his foot, and then it's nighttime. They're still searching, and Rick Moranis, "Wait, I feel the presence of the Schwartz. It's coming from right there." "You're right, sir. There's a secret entrance here. And look at this insignia. It's a Y. Yogurt! Yogurt! I hate yogurt! Even with strawberries." And it's like you can't go in there. Yogurt has a Schwartz. He's far too powerful. "But sir, your ring. Don't you have the Schwartz too?" "No, he got the upside. I got the downside." You see, there are two sides to every Schwartz. So, but Rick Moranis tricks Princess Vespa by disguising himself as her father, and then when she faints, he's like, "For you." So they take her and the robot Dot too. So they escape, and Lone Star and Barf, as they head out saying goodbye to Yogurt and all that, as he gives him a fortune cookie. And then because with Dark Helmets, he's playing with these little action figures of the characters. And then as when Colonel Sanders, he comes in, and then Helmet, he takes him, and is like, "Not next time, knock." "Did you see anything?" "No, sir. I didn't see you playing with your dolls again." And so, and then they have the princess strapped down, and with the talking to their father, the ransom and all that, and then Dark Helmet's like, "May I introduce Dr. Philip Schlockins, the greatest nose job in the entire universe and Beverly Hills." And he tells like if you give us the combination to the air shield, Dr. Schlockins will give your daughter back her old nose. He gives him the combination. This is it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he's like, "That's the most stupidest combination I've ever heard in my life. That's the kind of combination any idiot would have on his luggage." And then Carl Sanders uses the remote. He tries to turn off the wall, but actually turns off the lights. Like, "What'd you do?" "Turn off the wall." "No, you didn't. You turn off the whole movie." "We gotta get that thing fixed. We're back, and we got the combination." So, and then the President Scrooge comes in, And he's like, tells him what the combination is, and then he says, "That's amazing! I got the same combination on my luggage." And then I like what Rick Moranis and Colonel says. They look at each other like, you know, because he said any idiot having his luggage. So, so Bill Pullman and John Candy, they arrive at the planet Spaceballs, the prison part, and then there's these two guards, and John Candy, he comes out and he gives him the middle finger, and beats the crap out of them to steal their uniforms, and they find the princess. They find the princess, and they hear that she has a deep voice singing, but they get her out, and then they shoot at the same guys. They're like, "Wait, those are the guys that stole our uniforms and beat the shit out of us too." And then you get your Star Wars parody fights, and then John Candy has this thing where they shoot and it reflects the laser beams, whatever, back at them. And as they get there, they go through this door, and then they get there, and then and actually this guy here is one of the officers. He's actually played by Steven Tobolowsky, which he's been in films like even what I reviewed, like a little role in The Glimmer Man. He's even been like the lead bad guy in Garfield the movie, and Single Wife Female, and Wild Hogs. He's been in all movies, if you recognize the guy's name. And he's like, "You idiots! These are not them! You've captured their stunt doubles!" That is another hilarious thing. They capture their stunt doubles. So, and then even Daphne Zuniga, I keep on mispronouncing her last name. She even gets her moment when they shoot her hair. It's like, "Son of a bitch," and she goes and shoots the shit out of all of them. And even Joan Rivers like, "Hey, that was even good for Rambo." So as they get out, and then President Scrooge is on their ship, and he's like, "President Scrooge, salute!" And also how the way they salute presidents, how the way they salute to the presidents, like this, or even more like this. And he's like, "Ship's too long. If I walk, the movie will be over." And he's like, he turns to Rick Moranis, he's like, "Oh, never have that damn thing down in front of me. How did I know you're not making faces at me under that thing?" Even when he lifts up the helmet, he's like... And then as they push the planet, and then he goes, "Planet Druidia, and 10,000 years of fresh air." Oh, that's one thing I forgot to mention about the part with the Planet Druidia, where they say, because it's like taking the parody of Jewish, because when they first rescue the princess, and she says, "I am Princess Vespa, daughter of Roland, king of the Druids." And then Bill Pullman's like, "Oh, that's what we need, a Druish princess." And then John Candy turns to the camera saying, "Funny, she doesn't look Jewish." It's supposed to be like the parody thing of Jewish people. Yeah, I forgot to mention that part. But that's also funny as well. But anyway, where we're at, and then Mel Brooks says like, "Planet Druidia, and 10,000 years of fresh air." And then Rick Moranis whispers to George Wyner, he's like, Wait, runs things won't last 100. So, and then the ship transforms into Mega Maid with a giant vacuum cleaner to suck all the air out of them. So then Bill Pullman uses the ring, uses the shorts to flip the switch, just give all the hair back to them. And as they go through into the ship, and he goes down alone, and then he tries to do one of the guards, the Vulcan neck bench. Like, "What the hell are you doing? The Vulcan neck bench? Nah, still, we got much too high. It's down where the shoulder meets the neck. Like this? Yeah. Thanks." And then uses he uses gets on some shaving cream, goes into one guy's face and his mouth, and that's where he's faced with dark helmets, and it's like, "Before you die, like, there's something you should know about between us." "What?" "I am your father's cousins, nephews. Oh, I am your father's brother's cousin's nephew's former roommate." "What does that make us?" "Absolutely nothing. That's what you will become. So prepare to die." and they get their rings, the Schwartz, like the lightsabers, you know, make it down there where the crotch is, like, you have the ring. And I see that your Schwartz is as big as mine. Let's see how well you handle it. And it's a fun lightsaber battle. It is. I enjoy it, and especially with the moment where Rick Moranis, he actually slashes a guy, which is actually a film crew member, where you see the people filming, the camera, the people filming on camera and all that, filming the movie. Like the part where he actually slashes a crew member, and he's actually wearing a Spaceballs the T-shirt, and he's like, he did it. What? Or when they get their lightsabers twisted around, and he's like, shit! I hate when I did my Schwartz twisted. And then, another hilarious part where, Bill Pullman, he tries to hit him, but it keeps on deflected. But when he takes his mask off, he's like, Rick Moranis takes his mask, lifts his mask up, like, to laugh. Bill Pullman goes and gives him a straight up punch in the face. He's like, ha, ha, mmm. Or when Rick Moranis, he tries to swipe, it's like, ah, and Bill Pullman's like this, trying not to be able to, he can't reach him. Ah, ah, ah. And then he psychs out Bill Pullman, doing the handshake, put it there, grabs the ring, and then Rick Moranis, I can't keep a straight face for trying to say it, because it's just so freaking hilarious. I laugh every single time. It's like, the ring! You fell, I can't believe you fell for the oldest trick in the book! What a goof! What's with you, man? Come on! Here, let me get back to you. Oh, look at that! You fell for that too! I can't believe it, man! So now you see, Lone Star, you see that evil will always triumph, because good is dumb. And then he hears Yogurt's voice to actually use the Schwartz, and then he grabs the mirror, and he voiced the crotch shot that he was going to shoot at him. He actually reflects it back at Rick Moranis's, and he sends it back to hit the self-destruct button. And so, it tells everyone Colonel Sanders tells everyone to abandon ship, and Mel Brooks like, Sanders, you gotta help me. I don't know what to do. I can't make decisions. I'm a president. And then everyone's getting into the escape pods, like a pizza guy is like, pizza to go, or Rick Moranis like, hey, guess my escape pod. Who are you? I'm the bearded lady. Who are you? One of the freaks? And then he's like, no, come back, you fat bearded bitch. Rick Moranis, this is why he's the highlight of the film. Everything he said is freaking hilarious. I just laugh my ass off of this film. This is why I just love him. This is why he's the highlight, and he souls the film for me. He's just hilarious every single time I watch the film. I never get tired of laughing, because even though I love all the other characters, all the actors in the film as well, but it's just Rick Moranis. He's the one who I just laugh the most at. And then Mel Brooks, he tries to escape a pod, but there's a bear in there, a guy in a suit, and waves bye-bye to them. And the song that's playing, Spaceballs, watch out! That's a good song as well. I enjoy the song, especially the rest of the score as well. But the song, Spaceballs! And so they try, there's a self-destruct button that says out of order, and then, you get the one F-bomb that Rick Moranis says, it's like, out of order? Fuck! Even in the future, nothing works. And as the countdown, as it skips over, like 8, 6. What happened to 7? Just kidding. And as they say, have a nice day. Thank you. As they embrace, as the ship explodes, but except it's like the head and the arm flies away. And they all Lone Star and the others, they get back to the kingdom. And as Lone Star and Barf, as they leave, they leave the princess, to be married again. They go to this space diner, and another great hilarious part of the film is that there's also this group of people which you get your parody a spoof of Alien, where you have actually John Hurt, what I've said before, John Hurt, he passed away early this year in January. I explained this part before when he passed away. He comes back as the same character Kane from Alien, and yet the chest bursts are coming out of him, and it's like, get him some water. Like this other guy, he's like, water? This guy got some freaking Pepto-Bismol. That's just freaking hilarious. Like, this guy got Pepto-Bismol. That's just freaking hilarious as well. And the alien chest burster comes out, and John Hurt's like, oh no, not again. Which is the alien right here, or if you can't see it, it's probably right there. And it's like, hello, my baby, hello, my sunshine, dances away, and John Candy and Bill Pullman like, check, please. And as they're driving away, they didn't want to stick around for the wedding, so he opens the fortune cookie and has yogurt in it, telling because Lone Star, he had this medallion that Yogurt deciphered. It's actually a royal birth certificate, so he's a real prince. So they make space tracks and they go back, and with Dark Helmet, President Scroob, and Colonel Sanders, they crash land, which is supposed to look like the Statue of Liberty, and it's also a parody of Planet of the Apes as well. Two of the apes say, dear me, what is that coming out of her nose? And they see them coming out of the nose, and Rick Moranis like, hey, watch my helmet. They start climbing down, coming out of it. They got one named Spaceballs. Oh shit, there goes the planet. And then at the wedding, Bill Pullman bursts in. That tells him he's a prince, so he wants to marry Vespa. And she shoves the other guy aside. So yeah, and as they get married, happy ending. And as they're going away in their Winnebago, the stuff is made of Schwartz be with you. And I wish the music during the credits I enjoy. Dun 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 dun, boom, dun 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 dun. I just love this film to death. This is why it's my all-time favorite comic film. As for this review, this is why I kept on laughing through this review, because I cannot keep a straight face, which I just laugh, especially every time with Rick Moranis. This is why it's my all-time favorite comedy movie. I love this film to death, and it's just it just brings a smile to my every single time, because every time I smile because I'm laughing throughout this whole film. And they also the Mel Brooks, he spoke about about a sequel. Yeah, he spoke about a sequel though, but which there was one that was supposed to be called that even Rick Moranis he pressed it when he wanted to come join in as well, but it's like a title called Spaceballs 3: The Search for Spaceballs 2, or even one that was going to be called what Mel Brooks wanted, he was going to call Spaceballs 2: The Search for More Money. I don't know, that would have been a great title for a sequel. The Search for More Money. Because, we're doing it for a shitload of money. But even though that's a good title for a sequel, I still think I would not want to see a sequel. If it's if it was like 20 years after the first film, I don't think it would not hold up as was back in the day. And besides, it would be impossible to do a sequel anyway, because you got John Candy, who passed away, and Joan Rivers, and Dick Van Patten, even Dom DeLuise, who voiced Pizza the Hut. It's impossible to do a sequel now. Even if they wanted to, it wouldn't be the same without John Candy, who plays Barf. It would not be the same. So yeah, I like the title for the sequel though, but I would not say a sequel anyway, because if it's like years after the first film, it would not look as good with a more modern times as it is today. It would just not be right. So, and even there was an animated series as well. It came out in 2008. It was that long ago. I've never seen the animated show, so I don't have an interest in seeing it anyway. I got this where if I saw it, I would not laugh. I'd probably not laugh as much. But this is what I think. It's better off to having a standalone film. because it's film. The film is funny, is hilarious enough as it is. And when the film came out, it wasn't that big. It came out around this time during the summer. And was not that huge of a hit, sadly. Budget of 22.7 million. It only made about 38 million overall. So it was not surprisingly, it was not a huge of a hit. Surprisingly, giving over for the name of Mel Brooks and this whole parody of Star Wars, figured it would be like a bigger hit though, but it wasn't, surprisingly. As a 7.1 on IMDb. That's a good rating though, but I would give it much higher. And it has a 54% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I completely disagree with. I give it a much higher rating. I would put this in the 90s%. But even though because it was mixed reception when it came out though, but since then it's become a cult classic, which it deserves. It deserves to be a cult classic, especially on home video. And it's been called one of Mel Brooks' best films, which I completely agree with that. Because this is my favorite film from Mel Brooks. It deserves to become a cult classic, even though it was like during its release though. But 54% Rotten Tomatoes, I completely disagree with. I would give it a much higher rating. I would give this personally. I would give this a 95%. Just to be perfect, to be fair. 95%. I think it would be fair. Love the cast, love the score, love the effects, love the humor. Like I said before, I enjoy Bill Pullman. I enjoy John Candy, Mel Brooks, Daphne, Zuniga. Keep on pronouncing her last name, but I forget. Damn. Joan Rivers as a voice of Dot, she does fine as well. George Wyner, I thought I enjoyed him as Colonel Sanders, Dick Van Patten. I enjoy all these characters, but to me, like I said before, highlight of the film, Rick Moranis. He's hilarious. He's hilarious throughout the whole film. He's hilarious in every scene he's in. He makes me laugh my ass off every scene he's in. And he's the highlight of the film. He sells the film. He's like basically at the center of the film for me, at least. Everything he says is hilarious. The whole thing, with the raspberry, Lone Star, the camera gets in his face, makes him fall down. Going at ludicrous speed, he flies. The lines he says, bullshit. Everybody got that. It's like during when he gets his coffee, he says, everybody got that. He looks at the camera like this. What else? I've said everything. The whole breaking the fourth wall of they are a movie. Even says they have a movie, and the whole now scene is hilarious. And even with the whole merchandise, selling merchandise is even put in there. Basically trying to make him sell a lot of merchandise with the Spaceballs, whatever. Like you talking about, my nose is a little bit runny. I don't know why. But I enjoy the parody. This is what I would definitely agree. I agree with this by Los Angeles Times. Screamingly funny. I agree with that because I just laughed throughout this whole film. It's just so easily It's so easily fast paced. It's like the fastest paced comedy films I've seen. Mel Brooks did great with the film. He did fantastic with the film. See, he did great. See, this is how today's spoof films today. Like I said, they're not even trying to be funny. They're trying to be as stupid as possible. All of them suck nowadays. Mel Brooks, he handled the parody genre well. Whether it be like Robin Hood Men in Tights or Young Frankenstein. This is how he when he parodied Star Wars and all that. This is how he handled the humor of a spoof parody film right. He did the humor right. It was funny. Made the humor actually funny. So not for me because I had to laugh through this whole film. So, yeah. This is a fantastic. This is a fantastic comedy. This is the reason why it's my all-time favorite comedy film. I'm saying right now, this is my all-time favorite comedy film because, like I said, if I look at all the comedy films I enjoy a whole bunch of them, but none of them has made me laugh like 100 times than this film. And like I said, it's mainly because of Rick Moranis. But like I said, I enjoy John Candy, Bill Pullman I love, especially also John Candy, Mel Brooks too, the rest of the cast. They're all funny in they're funny in their ways. They all do a really great job. I love them. But none of them made me laugh more times than Rick Moranis. He's like the center, the soul of film for me. This is why I say it's my favorite role of his. Even though I love him in Ghostbusters and I love him in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. But he was the most funniest in to me. I love this. I just love this film to death. It's just, yeah, keep firing, assholes, or now we're looking at it now, sir. Everything's happening. It's happening now. Especially also George Wyner. Like I said, I just love the banter between him and Rick Moranis. The man also makes the film funny as well. The technician guy, Michael Winslow, with the whole sound effects thing, funny. I just enjoy every bit of this film. Even though it's all the other stuff I enjoyed. Was it John Hurt, the parody of Alien. I always like he came back for that, for the same character for the parody role. John Hurt, may he rest in peace. I can't think of anything else. I'd rather just be repeating myself again. But yeah, I love this film to death. That's why I say it's my all-time favorite. It's my all-time favorite comedy film. I can't give more than that. Almost coming in on an hour in, but this film deserves it. It's definitely worth deserving for almost an hour-long 30th anniversary movie review. 30 years later, to me it is still hilarious. It's not dated at all. It's still funny, hilarious as hell. If they took the Star Wars parody to nowadays today, it would not be that funny. I guarantee you, it would not be a single thing that would be funny about it. I'm glad they took this around this time to do it in the 80s because of all the craze of Star Wars. But nowadays, if they did a spoof like this nowadays, if it's not Mel Brooks though, it would not be funny. Like how all the dumb spoof films today, like it's a Day movie, Disaster movie, Vampires Suck, Meet the Spartans, all those other spoof films, superhero movies, scary movies, especially Scary Movie 5. Nowadays, films like these, they just suck nowadays. They're not even intended to be funny. Stupid humor, stupid characters, stupid attempts to be funny. This is a film when it was in the hands of Mel Brooks. This is especially how this film did the humor and the spoof parody concept right. I don't know why how movies the spoof films today. Why don't they just take notes from this? Try to attempt to be funny instead of just throwing in your face. Oh, look at this! This is obviously funny, or it's the obvious something we're spoofing from. You get it? God, I hate that. Especially with a bunch of nobodies in those spoof films. They are portraying characters from other movies. If you do, try to attempt to make a film like this, we get well-known actors like these, maybe it'll be a little bit more funny, but no. So I'm glad we got this film back in the day, the whole parody thing. Mel Brooks, great job with the film, fantastic. That's how we did this parody, spoofing, funny humor right. And like I said, my all-time favorite comedy film, just laughed my ass off. Rick Moranis was the highlight of the film for me. He made me laugh every single time. This film that made me put a smile on my face, and you can see I was laughing throughout this whole review, just explain the humor, because it's still funny. I laugh every single time. Especially, like I said, it's Rick Moranis. He's as Dark Helmet. Such a classic, perfect example of parodying Darth Vader. No one could pull. No one nowadays. No one could pull it off more than Rick Moranis. I enjoy the other cast, but Rick Moranis, love him to death. He's hilarious as hell. This film was hilarious as hell, mainly because of him. So yeah, hour-long review, but it deserves it. So hope you enjoyed this long, deserved 30th anniversary movie review of Spaceballs. Definitely worth deserving for his 30th anniversary movie review. 30 years later, it's still funny as hell. Still makes me laugh my ass off to this day still. And I'll always love this film to death. My all-time favorite comedy film. Right here. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you stay long enough, because I usually don't do an hour-long reviews. But this one definitely deserves it for my... If it's my favorite, all-time favorite comedy film, definitely worth deserving it, because... Especially, it's celebrating its 30th anniversary. Definitely deserves this review. This long review. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. And also, if anyone hasn't seen this film, forgot to point out, if anyone's not seen this film, please check this film out. If anyone's a fan of comedy, or old comedy films. Forgot to mention that. But yeah, check it out if you haven't seen this film. Please. This one I definitely recommend it. But yeah, thanks for watching. And stay tuned on the next movie review. And like I said, happy 4th of July to everybody. This one deserves to worth a review on the 4th of July. I'll just hold up just the end of it. But thanks for watching. And stay tuned on the next movie review. Later. Once again, laugh my ass off every single time. Later.